Hey, what's up fam? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video with us, the Bradleys. And today we're dispelling myths about living abroad. Stay tuned.
One night, can we last till the sunrise?
All right, the first myth we have, and we got our trusty notes here, is if you are aware, and if not, you'll really love this, January 26th, we're putting on the Move Abroad in 3 easy steps virtual workshop, January 26th. We get to sit down with our family on Sunday and talk about all things moving abroad, and then specifically your why, budgeting, and the best research tools so that you can move abroad as seamlessly as possible. But there's a myth that we've noticed that we want to dispel for you. Myth is that you have to actually be there. You do have to purchase, but you actually don't have to be there. Life be lifing. We've had plenty of people who sometimes couldn't show up, but what they appreciated, they couldn't show up in the past sometimes, but what they appreciated was that we give you guys the recordings after the fact. It's a closed, safe space for everyone to talk together, for you to interview us, for you to do homework, to get your plan in motion for moving abroad. So when you purchase your ticket, $97 per person, you don't even have to be there if you don't want to be or if you can't be for any reason. You can revisit later when we email you the recordings, and you'll still be perfectly equipped to continue to take steps to advance. I also want to let you know that this is a bundle deal. This workshop covers one of the most important modules in our upcoming comprehensive online course. We'll announce that to you when it's available. If you're not on the newsletter, that's linked in the description. You should get on that so that you get continued updates from us. But again, between right now and January 26th is a limited time special offer, a bundle deal. This virtual workshop, with us on the 26th, combined with the forthcoming online course. When you sign up, the course is available to you forever. And it just continues to expand and expand and expand. So that's the first myth. Go ahead and get your ticket. We can't wait to see you January 26th. If you can't make it, we've got you covered with the recordings and the course in the community that comes later. Because we just want you to be able to get this starter information, okay? So we'll see you the 26th, hopefully. So, Dad, what's another myth about living abroad that people need to put to rest?
One of the other myths is that you have to be rich. And what I mean by that is people think that you have to have a whole lot of money to be able to live abroad. And I think I want to also speak to retirees because they may not think that they have enough money. For example, you do not need to have $1 million or even $500,000 saved up to be able to live abroad. There are things to consider, and people need to realize that they're entering a different playing environment when they leave the West, when they leave the UK, where it's very expensive, or Canada, or the United States. They're so used to that expense to live that they project that forward to where they're going. And they miss the fact that their US dollar goes potentially further in the country they're going to, and of course will help them with cost of living things. But so their money goes further. They're no longer on the hamster wheel, so they're not going to work and all the expenses that are associated with work, whether it's the suit, whether it's certifications, whatever it is, they're no longer dealing with those responsibilities anymore. Then there are food. If a person is able to enjoy the local food versus Western food, that's going to cost a whole lot less. And because it's local food, it's more than likely more natural, better for them. So you're going to decrease your health costs and your visits to the doctor because you're getting more sunshine, you're eating food that doesn't have chemicals in it, and so on and so forth. So no, you don't have to be rich to move abroad. We're not, and we've been living abroad for over 3 years and enjoying ourselves.
That's right. And isn't this covered in the workshop?
Yes, it is covered in the workshop. We go into great detail to discuss it with people. Yes, thorough. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's great.
Yeah, you talked about visiting the doctors. That's another big change in how you spend your money living here on the continent. It's much more affordable versus being in the States. Something like if you need to have an emergency to get to the hospital. It could be over like $1,000 just to get there for the ambulance to come and
I was
pick
about
you
to
up.
say.
So the healthcare is much more reasonable. You're going to be saving when you move here. So that's a big myth.
We've also heard some people cut their expenses in half when they move abroad, like from the States or from
Right.
Europe, or Europe's a continent, but from a European country or something like that, that they've greatly reduced their finance or the budgetary. I think y'all know what I'm trying to say. To Dad's point, the same foods and medical amenities like you're talking about, they greatly go down. I know, Dad, you had experienced that with like the moringa seeds when you were dealing with blood pressure. You were on
Yes.
natural moringa seeds that you actually brought. We brought them to Africa, actually. Everything we talk about is not about Africa, but we'll definitely talk about our time here. These things can apply wherever you go in the world, but food, amenities, medical things like that, that can affect the finances.
Last example, so I was watching the news yesterday, and yes, literally, I was watching the news yesterday, and they were discussing how red dye number 3 is going to be pulled out of the ingredients of things in America.
Okay.
And they're projected to do this in 2027, I think it was, somewhere in that time frame. Well,
Okay.
there are many countries, like European countries and on the continent, where they eliminated red dye number 3 a long time ago. And why is that important? Because they're discovering, at least, I know these are lab rats and things like that, but there were disturbances in their system and could be a cancer-causing element. Where is red dye number 3 found? In various things that we eat. They add the coloring to things so that it looks pretty and beautiful. So something
Gotcha.
to think about.
Yeah, and it's just things that we don't really, like you say, something to think about. That's things that we don't know living in the States, especially how certain foods or certain products, things put in the food is illegal. So it's not even a thing outside of the U.S.
Very good. And you know what, with that, Daniel, take us to the next myth buster.
Yes, the next one is where you move has to be permanent. And I think I'm more so speaking to like the mentality of, I'm doing my research, I gotta make sure this place is the perfect place because I'm gonna be here for the next 20, 30, 50 years. Listen, y'all, we found that over 90% of expats who move abroad don't stay in their original place. Okay?
Could you say that again?
Over 90% of expats who move abroad don't stay in their original place wherever they land, and that's okay. Maybe where you land, you'll love it, but it's like you don't have to put that pressure on yourself. Y'all, we moved. We are in that 90%.
Where were we before Zanzibar?
We were in Rwanda, and it was great.
For like a year.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed it very much in the benefits of Rwanda. But it's like you don't have to pressure yourself. And I think we had that mentality being in the States because a lot of people we don't move around a lot. You know, maybe in that state you have different eateries. You know, the U.S. is like a melting pot, so you go to like different places to eat different things or shop. But there are multiple different states you can move to, and that, of course, that goes beyond out of the U.S. to different countries. But that mindset, I think, it begins in the U.S. where you're kind of in this box, and it doesn't have to be like that. You can move for numerous reasons, whether it's health, love, maybe a job opportunity. The world is your oyster.
Right. I think a lot of times, because a lot of us have lived in some place, maybe generations have been there, and it never enters our mind. I know living in the DMV area, I've known people that have stayed in Washington, D.C. and have never gone to Virginia, which is like maybe 15 minutes away from them. They've just never thought about it. But you have so many more opportunities when you think outside of where you are of having a better life for yourself. And so being able to come to one place, you're like, okay, I'm loving this area, but you know, I think I really want to live in this particular place that has more beaches, or I like more of the mountains. And I think a lot of times we might grow up thinking we want to be somewhere, but we don't make that move. But make that move, do that, step out, say, okay, I'm going to go on and do that and make that move. And if I come to one place and I'm enjoying it, that's great. But then if I know of another place and I'm researching, I'm like, wow, I want to go to so-and-so. You have that opportunity to go to another place, and it just opens up so many other avenues for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing of you do not have to just stay in one place.
Because Mom, didn't you move around as a little girl, and Dad,
Right.
you moved around?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think that was the beauty of doing that when I was young. I mean, I started at the age of 2. My father was in the service, so we moved around, and I think that's just always been in my blood, my makeup, to just want to be in another place. And I love other opportunities. I love the environment that's different and meeting people of different tastes or ethnicities, and just other people that you learn from. You learn from people from other places, and that is what I really enjoy.
And again, guys, like, you definitely should research where you move to. We cover things like that in our workshop, but it's about removing that pressure. Okay, that's what we're talking about here.
Awesome. So, Mom, with that, what's the next myth?
Well, the next myth, we do hear this a lot. They say that expat life is lonely. Well,
Is
the
it?
truth of the matter is that life being in other places is very communal, especially here. It's very communal, and you're finding other ways of meeting people. People are very warm where we are. People are very giving. They want to help you and help you to know about their environment. And there's groups that you can find out about. There's a lot of expat groups. There are a lot of groups maybe within the area that you've zeroed in on. But you can do these things ahead of time before you go to say, okay, I want to go to this particular place. Wonder what the community is like. Wonder if they have an expat group. So you can get online and find that out for yourself and find areas that are more specific for you and what you're looking for. And so we have not, at least I have not felt lonely. We felt, like I said, we've met a lot of people, we've met people our age.
Oh, yeah,
And
lots of them.
that's a lot of retired people.
Yeah.
People have had to come, before they left, they had businesses, they're doing, some people are doing businesses here. And so you meet a lot of people that are like you, that are doing the things that you like to do. And I haven't felt lonely, so it's been really good.
Oh, get personal. What were you doing the other night on Tuesday night?
Right.
What was I doing Tuesday?
We did it in, you and I did it in Puerto Rico.
Salsa dance.
Yeah, yeah.
She said, "Don't wait up."
Yeah, there's a friend of ours that has a restaurant, and on Tuesday nights, not maybe a couple of times, I think it's every month, but she has a person that comes in and teaches salsa. So a few of us from the community, there was a couple of ladies my age, we went, and some people had teenage sons and went, and you got to learn how to dance and everything. And I've done that before, like Mark said, we did it when we went to Puerto Rico. It was really fun. It was a family setup, just like this was. You had mothers dancing with their sons, and it was really, really fun. And so we're in Africa, but that's what we were doing. And so you never know when you go to some place what's going to be available to you, what people are going to be doing, and that has really, really been good for us.
Yes, indeed. And also, the restaurant you were at, you said is a friend of ours, Ashley the Box. So she's got quite an environment there where it's just fun to be around people, and she's always got things going on.
Always.
In fact, you're not able to even attend a paint and sip that's coming up because we're going to be having a family business meeting we already have planned with our sons, including our sons who are still in the States, because we have virtual meetings and so forth. But I know Daniel goes out too, and you do a little pool.
Oh yeah, I'll here where we live. Like I'll go to this
Yeah.
nice restaurant by you can see the water and stuff, and I'll play pool there. They got DJs playing music, all types
They
of
have
cool music.
a swimming pool as well. There and stuff.
And
Kayaks,
the pool isn't. Yes, it has some chlorine in it, but it's the least amount of
Yes,
chlorine I have
different.
ever felt
Same.
in a pool. Okay,
Yeah.
y'all, and the water is like warm. You know, so it's real different. I've been to the zoo here, and it's beautiful. Like the zebra just walked up on me while I was
what,
recording.
30 minutes drive from where we are, right?
Yeah.
It's in the community, in the STEM town.
Yeah.
So can you explain the zoo? Is it like the zoo in the States, or is it
Oh, good
different?
question.
How
Is it?
what's-
It is different. They had like a section where you could play like games and stuff. Like there was like a whole arcade section with like air hockey and like the boxing game and some like more like arcadey fight, like Street Fighter, like video game type stuff. And there were like rides that you could get
Yeah.
on, I think,
Okay.
as well, like bumper carts and stuff. So it was a bit more than just a
Yeah.
zoo.
So were the animals all in cages, or how was the setup with the animals? Were they kind of out roaming, or how was that like?
They were off to themselves, kind of like in cages and different things. Like the zebra I'm talking about, he wasn't, or I'm sorry, she wasn't in the cage. Like it was like a very like large open space
Okay.
for the zebra to come to us. Like the guy who was
Nice.
giving me the tour just kind of called the zebra
Okay.
from like way off, and I was shocked because I'm like, wow, he like the zebra heard him and walked all the way down here. So
Okay.
yeah, we saw amazing things from hyenas to porcupines to like camels.
The ostriches, I think, too, right?
Yeah, there was an ostrich.
That's dope.
So yeah, it was
There are
it
things
was
to
great.
do.
There are things to do. I went with a friend, so like we're on the topic of like lonely. It wasn't lonely.
Yeah.
And the tour guide, he was so cool. He was so welcoming, giving us like plant. That's another thing. Like yes, it was the zoo, but he took us to this section
Like the
with,
permaculture, or if I'm saying it right, the plant life.
yes, the plant life where we saw like the eucalyptus and the oils and the I don't remember all the names.
Avocado or something, or not avocado, maybe aloe vera.
Aloe vera, stuff we put
Or
like on
aloe
our
plants.
temple.
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
Neem leaves, maybe.
All this stuff. Like, so this was like a zoo and much more.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Nice.
yeah, it was great. It was great.
Wow. Fabulous.
Awesome. Well, Mom, what's the next myth?
Well, a lot of people feel that it's more dangerous outside of America. Well, many places in the world are safer. So there's a lot of things we know going on in America, and I know a lot of people say that America is supposed to be the best place, safe place. But there's places outside that are safer. People can walk at night. At least here, we can walk at night and have any issues. You're not dealing with a lot of the things that go on in America. You're not having a lot of racism. You're not having a lot of gunfire at night and
Right.
things like that. Because we lived in
Los
the
Angeles.
East Coast of the
Yeah,
States, and we've
and-
been to the West Coast, and we've heard those things. But we've lived in Rwanda and we've lived here, and we've not had that, you know. And there's other places, there's other countries that are like that, where it's safe. It's like people are more communal. There are more people out on the streets with their family, kids at night, and so we're not finding that it is safer, and we felt comfortable. I haven't felt like, okay, if I'm driving in a car and a cop car comes by or certain things happen that I'm really skittish about it. I'm not like that. And so there are places besides Africa and other countries that are safer because of those things that maybe go on in the U.S. or in other Western places. They're not necessarily going on in other places. So there are places that are safe, and we're feeling safe here.
Yeah, and the people aren't super confrontational like we are from the States.
Right.
And so I'm not saying a disagreement won't happen. Sure, it'll happen, but you're not thinking, is this person going to pull out a weapon or
Right,
something
right.
within this disagreement? Versus in the States, you always got to be ready because you don't know if someone going to pull out that amendment, you know. So
There's another thing that I think is the canary in the coal mine. In other words, a signal to let you know whether it's safe or not. I started noticing in the WhatsApp groups that were being invited by Leslie and her husband got this nice place we got to get out to, as a matter of fact, with the ATVs and horseback riding and all that stuff. But so as she's monitoring the WhatsApp group, I'm noticing we're asked to welcome this lady, that lady, the next lady, and they're single women.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe they're like 40 to 60, 65 years old, something like that. That's an indicator to me that there is safety because you've got a lot of women who are popping up more than men.
Right.
So when I'm like seeing pictures and they're having a great time at the beach, they're having a great time dancing, they're having a great, and it's not just 5, 6 of them, it's lots. And I'm noticing that increase in the last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's an indicator right there.
You guys want to know more about that? Check out, linked in the description, our videos about some of the safest and most peaceful places to live in the world. And also, I think Africa, if you're interested in the continent, we have those here on the channel if you're new here.
And reminder, subscribe to the newsletter. We give updates on that stuff there too, like regularly, kind of like updates.
So the next myth we're going to dispel. If you're coming to Africa, the myth is that Africans hate Black Americans. Not true. Totally false. You'll find different people wherever you go, in the continent or otherwise, but if you're like us, you can find love here. I'm blessed. You can find business partners. You can make new friends, as we were discussing. You can find found family, or like new family, people who you can't live without and who are really enriched by your presence. We've done it. We know others who have done it both in Zanzibar, in Rwanda, in other countries, other expats that we follow, those who are also retired, like they're not afraid of coming to Africa, like, are we going to be unalived, or is something bad going to happen to us? Again, no matter where you go, you're going to find people who they just don't like you, or they're a bit standoffish or whatever. That's fine. That's just people. That's not automatically hostility, I don't think, or anything like that. Sometimes there are some people you don't get along with that well, but there's no hatred, there's no animosity. You're just minding your own business. We've encountered some very beautiful people here, inside and out, who have looked out for us when there were power outages, who checked in to see if we had something to eat, who have, to the point of food, who have helped us get immersed in like the markets as we get to know food. What do you think?
I'm laughing on the food because they also ensure we have food and came over to eat food also. So
yes,
So,
exactly. Very welcoming place. Were you gonna say something, Mom?
No.
But you think you remember it?
I'll take this slot. So I'm thinking about we were blessed to meet 6 or so young ladies here and their children and stuff like that. That's really exciting. I mean, to have fun watching movies.
Yes.
We would have movie nights just in our houses, and then we'd have karaoke nights. So
Game
game
night,
nights
board
and
game.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and we had, remember, I was asked to facilitate a session where we were playing this ask questions about things in the world. And we formed teams.
Yep.
That was fun. That was fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or think about this. Let's see here. We went over to Dar for some health stuff one time, and we're hooking up with some of the other young ladies who still live on the mainland, and we're meeting them, going out to their house, or meeting them at restaurants, and we're interacting with people.
Yeah.
This is fun.
A lot of this we even have on video. Check in the description as well, where we've done some videos of people just doing cultural exchange. I don't mean to make it sound so stuffy, but we were in Rwanda doing videos with people, just, the Black American experience, coming from America, coming to Africa, them giving us tips on places they're like, you guys got to go to Zanzibar at the time because of the chapati, or you should go to South Africa, or you should go to Botswana, etc. You should be aware of this cultural thing. You should get this food. You should do business here. And there was no threatening atmosphere or anything like that. I've been amongst my girlfriend's Maasai. She's invited me to Maasai gatherings on the mainland in the past. I got to try some of the local food, see some of the festivities that they were doing, and there was no weirdness. There was no staring or anything. Or sometimes, actually, if some did, some of even the older women were like staring and then smiling at me when I looked back. Or something.
Oh, that's that look of approval. That's what that. They like, okay.
That's what. It was nice. It was just so. There's no. You gotta come see for yourself. Watch more of our videos. Watch videos of other Black Americans traveling, or even if you're American, there are Americans just in general who are non-black. They're coming to Africa exploring, starting businesses,
That's right.
going on sabbatical, vacation from work and stuff like that. And they're showing that, whether you're black American or just American, that there's no, xenophobia or things like that. You got to get that balanced view. So enjoy more of our videos, watch other people's videos, read their articles, and then of course, come to the continent and see for yourself that we're smiling and glowing for a reason, okay? In fact, to that, so we're kind of talking about the safety myths and things. Dad, what's this myth about wild animals, again, in Africa?
Yeah, that's...
What's that?
Yeah, there are wild animals in Africa, but they're not roaming the streets.
They're not?
They're
not?
I love my brother-in-law. He had asked this question. He said, you see any
We
wild
love you.
animals or something coming down the street or whatever? And I'm not even sure if he said that much, but you know me, I got to be sarcastic all the time. And we were up in Rwanda at the time,
That's right.
and we actually had the benefit of meeting a guy who owned this 12-story brand new, or 12-room brand new.
Yes.
He took us on a tour of the rooms, suites and hotel with multiple restaurants, swimming pool.
Yeah.
Nice place.
Very nice.
They also had a club there, and we were there. Yes,
You
it
wouldn't
was
even
nice.
know it was like soundproof and it was
No,
tucked away.
yeah.
And it was so cool.
So, and it wasn't really operating at that time, but we asked him to turn on the lights and stuff like that. So I took some pictures there and sent it to your brother and said, yeah, this is the only wildlife I know of down here. So anyway, so no, they're not roaming the streets. They're like on safaris or places,
Yeah.
and you've been on safaris, you've been to the zoo and stuff like that. It's, nah.
Yeah, and all in fun. Love you, fam. You watch this, all in fun.
Yeah.
Yes, I've said it before. Only people in Africa living amongst the wild animals, tribal folk
right.
who are legit equipped to do this over the centuries. This
Right.
is what they do.
Right.
And even then, they mind their business. They're still wild animals, okay? These are people we're also talking about who just want to raise their families, who want to go about their community and stuff like that. So you can go also to the, conservation area, like you were saying, where I went out in, check out our video where I went to Serval, a wildlife sanctuary, which is partly, at least in part, run by some of the Maasai up in that area. It's actually a luxury safari park that they got, if I'm saying it right, bungalows and traditional safari designed homes. I forgot the word for it, but it's like there are places, there's strategic places you can go to experience the animals, like whether it's in Stone Town like you did, or whether it's a safari park that's a little bit more out in the elements. And then even then you can go on tours with people in different tribal areas and different areas in Africa where it is safe, where the local folk can welcome you and help keep you safe, but you can get some of their experience. But there's still safety, okay?
Yeah, but if you're interested in that, because he got to like pet the lions and all that kind of stuff, and he's got Mount Kilimanjaro over your shoulder. I mean, it's a good distance away because this joint's big, right? But anyway, you need to look. I'm sure they'll have it down in the link in the description, and he can, like, him and his girlfriend can help arrange that for you so that you could do those kinds of things.
Thank you. Yeah. So no, there are no wild animals roaming around.
No.
It's safe. People with people, animals with animals. Even some of the most dangerous lions don't like to be near people.
No, they
Just
don't.
because they're lions doesn't mean they just go wherever they want to go. So on that tip, Daniel, when it comes to people, what's another myth that we have here?
Another myth is that there's no infrastructure. Like there's no power. There's no electricity. Y'all, this is one of the biggest myths, man. In fact, a friend of ours who his family is who decided to stay in the village, the whole village, like 90% of the village got solar.
Yeah.
And like where we currently live, we ain't even got solar.
Yeah.
You know, so like they higher than us right now. I'm trying to get there. So
Right.
that's that nice circle of life for getting the sun, solar, and it's powering the house or whatever they need. There's paved roads here. There's what is it? Where we used to live in Rwanda, they got the electric bikes that will mention.
The electric motorcycles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's beautiful here, y'all. There's infrastructure here. There is electricity.
Yes.
There's Wi-Fi. Okay. So
So you're saying we're not secretly in the United States right now. We are in Africa producing videos.
absolutely.
Yes. I also want to say about that, roads. Where we live here, there's more roads that are being built. We've been in Dar, and there's just construction going on everywhere. Widening roads, paving roads. So there's a lot going on. There's an increase in that in a lot of areas in Africa, a lot of other countries.
Oh, and there's that new train system
That's
that
right.
Yeah.
just
The
got
mainland,
established. And one of the expats here, he wrote it, so he showed pictures to the group. Really looking good.
Isn't it electric? The train?
Yeah.
Deep.
So is it coming from like Dar to here? I'm trying to figure
No,
out
no,
how
no,
far. What was
no,
it?
no. Dar to like Arusha and
Oh, I got
out that way.
you. Got you.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
we are. They're also, I guess, working on that bridge.
Oh, that's what it is,
Because
the
we're on the
bridge. I got
island. That's what
mixed
she was
up.
thinking.
Yeah.
I got it mixed up. Bridge. Thank you.
Oh yeah. But yeah, when we drive out into town, sometimes it's like being in the city because there's all this construction work because they're building up, they're doing their stuff. So guys, this myth, let's get it out of here. And there's infrastructure here, okay? All right.
You'll be good. So, Mom, take us to our final myth. What is it?
Hear this a lot. We hear this a lot. It's impossible to move to Africa or other places. It's not impossible. We did it, and we're not rich. We did it because we prepared. We did research. We went out, we used the internet, we used friends that were already here. There's so many ways to figure out how to move from where you are that is not expensive. We can make it easy and simplify it with the tools that we have. If you take our course, January 26th, there's a lot in there, our workshop, there's a lot in there that we're going to present to you of different stages of what you can do. There's budgeting. Because a lot of people may not like that word, but you do. You have to sit down and think, okay, where I want to go, what do I need to do? If I don't know how to do that, we can show you how to do that. You can sit down and we can tell you how to research, we can tell you how to budget areas of getting rid of, because we were out of debt. Show you how to get out of debt and how to really use your money wisely for where you want to go. So no, it's not impossible to do that, and you do not have to be rich because we were not.
Yeah, I also remembered there are some, I guess the technical term is schemes for, in a good way, for residency and or citizenship
Right.
here in Africa. In other countries, everything Mom said can also be applied to other countries. But as far as Africa, some countries are following suit of like Ghana or Sierra Leone, where maybe if you have your DNA, you can tie your lineage to a certain country in Africa. There are certain easy pathways made for you to maybe get citizenship or residency. There's also retirement residencies that people can take advantage of in a good way. In Africa, there's investments as well. There are a lot of different pathways that can make moving to Africa either permanently or maybe for a year or something like that, depends on where you're going, where there are pathways that have been established for decades and new ones are cropping up. One of the most popular ones are the digital nomad visa.
Yeah.
There are different countries all over the world, and Africa is included. It has countries that are beginning to offer digital nomad visas. I think I heard somewhere that maybe 5 years ago, there might have only been 5 digital nomad visas in the world. 5 years later, there might be between 20 and 30 around the world, better yet, on the continent of Africa. So there are ways to get here. You just got to look for them And if you're here, maybe you were looking for ways, and that's how you found our channel. So with that, those are our 9 myths that we busted for you about moving and living and moving abroad, especially if you want to come here and live in Africa. We invite you January 26th for our Move Abroad in 3 Easy Steps virtual workshop. Remember, if you can't make it, it's okay, because the materials will come to your inbox. We just want you to secure your seat. Tickets are $97. And when you secure your seat, you are automatically enrolled into the comprehensive online course. This is a bundle deal for $97. It expires January 25th, and then the workshop launches the 26th, that following day. So links to secure your seat, to get on the newsletter, to get our travel resource guide and other goodies, all of that stuff is linked in the video description. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. And with that, the Bradley's going to see you on the next video. And we hope to see you the 26th. Be blessed.